What's going on, my people? Shout out to all my patient progressors and the ones that have been sticking with me. I wanted to give y'all a big update on my journey and what's been going on with me. Um, so get prepared for story time. It's gonna be a long story. I want y'all to really pay attention and just really digest the lesson and the bigger picture to all of this, because I've learned a big lesson. And the lesson is never overstay your welcome and go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Sometimes it's hard to decipher that if you're not close to God. So by further ado, I'm gonna take it all the way back to last year, beginning of 2024. I not was rich, but I was comfortable. I guess you could say I was financially a lot more stable than I was. As you can see, the car that I'm driving in, I am doing a little bit better, but could be a lot better. I had to cut off a lot of people. I had to get right with God. I had to meditate. I had to learn how to eat right, how to talk right, think right. Um, Having this car is just the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? It means a lot to me because I come from a place of poverty. I come from the hood. I walked on my feet for 20 years. So I am very grateful to have the car that I have today, to have the mindset I have today, the health, my legs, everything, my heart, my mind, my soul, my spirit. But without further ado, like I said, I want to take it back a year ago. So I've been on this spiritual journey trying to, recollect myself, discover why God put me on this earth. And while I discovered it in October 2020, I decided that I'm going to branch out and do other things because I started to become an entrepreneur. I started to realize that money isn't enough when it comes to a 9 to 5. You can't just live life off of one job. And I started realizing that. So as I shifted from a 9 to 5 Allied Universal Security Guard supervisor and all of that, I went from making at least $2,000 a week, working 7 days a week, to making $2,000 a week, working 5 days a week. You know what I mean? Or I went from making 100 a day, or I'd say 200 a day, to making $300-400 a day, which is doing Uber. So I always wanted to share my story, but I was always scared of, people's opinions. And, I had imposter syndrome. I didn't really think I was worthy enough of this, to tell my story or, stuff like that. But I grew the courageousness and bravery to share my story in hopes that it inspires someone else. And God's always been calling me for a mission to motivate and inspire people through motivational speaking, music, anything that has a creative medium in it. I've always been interested in content creating. So that's how I actually got into content creation. I've dated a woman who had 2.6 million followers on TikTok, and she was the bread and butter of TikTok. She was a celebrity in that, and she was making great money. So I've been around people who have told me I have the potential, I have the talent, I have what it takes to really succeed in this field, But I've been surrounded by yes people and people who aren't bold enough to go after their dreams, who aren't inspired enough to actually go after their dreams and defeat imposter syndrome. So to get back to last year, after 3.5 years of discovering my craft, my calling, which is just speaking, music. First, it came from music. It was really motivational speaking. I just never knew. I had my first brand stolen from me. Then one day I woke up, I had an ID crisis for a couple months. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted to be. I said, you know what, I want to do music. I need a name. Came up with the name Jaheard. It was born. Next thing you know, I'm trying to figure out a brand that's a spiritual successor to Nipsey Hussle's The Marathon. So I found that. I woke up one day and I said, patient progress is prosperous. And I said, wow, it's pretty amazing. So fast forward, I have my brand, which is right here on my chest. It's probably a P backwards, but it's patient progress. It's 2 P's and a half arrow, which is in substitute for the other P, which is right here. Boom. And the other P right here. So this is my logo. This is my bread and butter. This is my legacy that I will live and die for. And this is something that I want to, spread to people This is a mental health wellness movement, a lifestyle that I'm choosing to live by. And this video is the reason why I'm doing that. The reason why I'm doing this video is because of that brand, and because I have so much to give and inspire people with. So without further ado, again, I have been going through a spiritual transition, but I haven't been noticing because I started opening my doors to other people and other opportunities, thinking that I was gaining leverage and I was gaining money and I was gaining reputation and popularity and what I needed to, develop as an artist, So I joined the nightlife, which is one of the most toxic markets and industries ever. I joined this place called Playroom. I met this guy named Soof the Radio Kid. He was a good dude, still a good guy. He's gonna be a brother for life. But I realized that I had to separate myself from Playroom, him, and everyone else I've been associated with because they weren't aligned with my purpose or no longer served me. I'm not gonna say they didn't want to sincerely see me win, but I felt as though they didn't want to see me shining more than them. And at that point, when I started dressing, better and driving better and thinking better and doing better, I just felt a little bit of animosity. I don't know why. I felt like a little bit of jealousy, envy. I don't know what it is, but I still feel that way today. I don't feel no envy, jealousy towards anybody, nor towards the people I've worked with at Playroom or in the nightlife period, or anyone in existence. I may have had thoughts younger, but that's because I had a low vibrational state of mind. But again, back to Playroom, I started working for them, and I had a few crash out moments. I was dating a woman who had me under a tight influence. Women could be our kryptonite, men. So keep that in mind. They could be our battery or they could be our kryptonite, and they could stab us with that kryp and cripple us of everything, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. It could really take a toll on your pockets. And that's honestly what it did. I was living with this girl, just living my life, not living with her, but living my life and taking her out and trying to please her. I was a people pleaser towards all my friends. I thought I was Spencer James. I thought I was Spider-Man, the superhero that could save everybody, and bring everybody together and form community. So I'm from Philadelphia, PA, and I'm from a city where it's very cliquey. It's very, if you're not a part of my community or you're not like me, I don't have to be nice to you. I don't have to work with you. Who are you? And that's how I took that. So I tried to change that. I tried to bring, happiness, joy, unity, unison, community, brotherhood. I tried to form that within nightlife and within my career. And I see that a lot of people had different standpoints and point of views. And I understand people are different. Lesson number one is I learned not to expect people to be me. I had to learn that the hard way. People will never be you. That's why you're a one of one. But you keep tricking yourself out of your own greatness and using imposter syndrome as a cop out, an excuse to not truly go after what you desire or who you are. That's why you're blocked from God. And that's what was going on with me when I was at Playroom. So again, I was under influence with this woman. Shout out to her. I love her. I forgive her. She forgave me. We moved on. I'm glad she was the one woman that opened up my eyes to my devilish ways and my flesh. Me and her were just going back and forth. I didn't know how to let go. I didn't know how to stop being with her because I loved her. I had an attachment. It wasn't really genuine love. You know what I mean? I thought it was, up until I guess I was wrong. So with that being said, my mind was influenced. I was, upset every time I went into my rabbit hole or, I went into my introverted ways. I would self-sabotage and I would ruin everything that I was working for. And a lot of the people around me, including Soof and a couple other people, took a lot of bullets from me, and they became casualties of my self-destruction. And I apologize to them for that, and I'll take full accountability for that, being on my journey of self-discovery. Sometimes you got to really embrace your lows to really reflect and celebrate the highs. You know what I mean? So me reflecting on having my crash out moments in front of Playroom. I snapped on my girl, and I snapped on Suf. I snapped on the bosses. I got upset for some odd reason because the lack of leadership, the lack of comprehension, and the lack of communication between Playroom staff, as well as, the homie and the manager, um, it has caused me to spiral out. And I never been in the nightlife before. I was a consumer, and I, did a few things like worked in nightlife, but I never worked as a promoter and seen how that goes. So me going through it my first time, I didn't understand, so I blacked out, and I was very impulsive. And then July 4th, 2024 comes. I get into a really fatal accident, and it almost kills me. You see it on the screen right there. That's actually the pole with the dent. Yeah, I don't have an actual visual of the crash or the car, but I wasn't thinking at that time. But I split my hand all the way from here, all the way to here. It split in half and down. I see my flesh popping out. It was crazy. I wish I had a video of that, but I suffered a mild concussion. I got, went to the hospital. My heart was about to stop because I had major anxiety. And I called my mother. I told her I was in the hospital. She told me, am I on drugs or have I been drinking and driving? And I'm like, I would never do those two things. Everybody probably drank and drive on their way home, but I never got into a car accident drunk. This was me sober at 2:30 in the afternoon on July 4th, trying to get my way home. Broad and Vine, crash. Someone hits crosses me on the intersection very late, and I read it late. My brakes failed me. At this time, I wasn't driving a Tesla. At that moment, I think Tesla would have definitely saved me. Shout out to Tesla, man. I love this car. Forget Elon. We don't love him, but we don't hate him. But anyway, so July 4th, I lose everything. Not even to mention, as I was getting my money and I was doing Uber and I got into the crash, I was getting kicked out of my residence. I was getting kicked out of my home that I loved dearly. I paid rent faithfully for almost 2 years. I got kicked out by the landlord due to prejudice, I guess racism. I don't know what it was, but it was very unfair. Noise complaints. It says on my lease I could bring people. But anyway, fast forward, I lose everything. Me and my woman get into an argument. She leaves. I split my hand. I have mad hospital bills. I lose my car. I lose everything. My home. I'm homeless. So I'm sitting in front of Playroom and with a split hand. And I get into a couple arguments with the manager and the owners, the two owners. And I feel as though after everything I done been through and I done lost, every time I reached out to them, they were of no help. I stayed a night at one of the boss's houses, and I was grateful enough to have him let me sleep on his couch. And shout out to you. I thank you for that, and I appreciate you. We already talked already, and we forgive each other. I forgive him. But I asked him, I'm like, hey, my stuff, I have to leave today. I need to pick my stuff up and take them to a certain location. Can you please help me because I got to work for you tonight? He was like, yeah, I got you. So after we get into the car, he's like, yo, I got to go do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm like, nah, bro, I got to get this done now because I have a lot going on. My hand is split, it's throbbing, it's hurting, I'm bleeding. And I'm still trying to pass out cars for you and be good to you and be loyal. Like, can you just do me this favor? Can you just, knock your stuff off? At that point, whatever he was doing wasn't that really important, to be honest. I was asking him for sincere help. Now, again, that's the expectation of people being like me. I had to stop thinking that way. So at that moment, I was in my ego. I was like, you know what? Let me hop out the car. Let me not say nothing. So I go to work. I hand out the cars, hand split, headache. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just lost everything. I'm still loyal to this company, to this club. I get to the club, I go drink, I go to the bar, and the boss was like, yeah, that's messed up what you did. You just hopped out my car, yada, yada. He yelled at me in front of the whole club, literally, at the bar section. He told me never to do that to him. So I got upset. I was like, damn, what the hell I do to you? Like, the stuff that I'm going through. So even before that, after that, me and him got into it. We threatened each other, I guess, and I wasn't thinking. we were going through it. The next day, I try to work again, and my pay is late. And for some odd reason, the manager, which is supposed to be my homie, even though I have no bitterness towards him anymore, I feel as though every time we get into an argument or we on bad terms, he takes forever to send my money, right? But when we're on good terms, I feel like he sends my money whenever he feels like it, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? At this point, I show up early, I do the job, I'm one of the best guys on the team, I'm loyal, I'm comprehensive, people love me on the streets. Like, my name is buzzing on these streets, you know what I'm saying? So I deserve my pay. And at that moment, we were getting paid like every Monday. As soon as the weekend was over, we would get paid like Sunday or Monday. Now all of a sudden it's 7 to 10 business days. Even though it said it on the contract, you should have just abided by that. So fast forward, I got mad and I cursed the manager out. I got upset. He was like, you work for me. I said, no, I don't. I work for the two bosses that hired you. I don't work for you. I work with you. But then again, that was my ego at play. And in all reality, he was the manager. I did work for him. So I'll take accountability and apologize for that. But after all that happened, July 4th, 2024, I got banned. This guy named Marcus, which is, I guess, one of the door guys, you know, one of the chief protectors of the club, he took me in. Shout out to him, man. He's like a father to me. I love you, bro. Thank you for taking me in rent free, and told me to get my stuff together, get it together, get a plan, and get your spot and do you, and do what's best for you, and worry about yourself. And you know the biggest lesson he ever taught me, this is lesson number 2. And this is a very fruitful lesson that a lot of people must learn. You remember when Spider-Man got consumed by the symbiote? He became evil. He started to do everything that was best for him. He started to look out for his best interests. When he was the red and blue Spider-Man, he was getting stomped all over. He was getting taken advantage of. He was too much of a good guy. And the whole main idea I'm trying to get to is, he told me, he was like, Justice, that's my real name, you got to stop being a good guy. You already know how to do that. You don't need to practice that. You need to practice on being a better villain, because even though villains lose in the end, you still win by getting what you want, and you get stuff done way better and way quicker, way more efficient when you're a villain. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna lose. Whether you be a good guy and save their ass, or you just let them drown, you're still losing. So believe it or not, you're going to the grave by yourself. So why do you care about someone else's opinion of your lifestyle and the decisions that you make? That's another thing I had to learn how to let go of. I was doing that for Playroom as well as everyone around me. I'm an empath. I soak a lot of energy up. So what Marcus was telling me to do, the greatest lesson he ever taught me was, he was like, bro, you got to stop giving a crap. You got to stop caring about other people's feelings. They're not caring about you. Become the villain by doing nothing. You understand what I'm saying? When you don't do nothing, when you do what's best for you, you become the biggest villain in other people's eyes. When you do what's best for them, you still become the biggest villain in their eyes the second you don't do what's best for them. That never made sense to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being Spider-Man. I'm going black. The symbiote has attacked. So now I'm being the villain and I'm getting more money. I'm driving a better car. You know what I mean? Ever since I crashed with the Kia, I came up in a Tesla. I waited my time. I stayed down. He gave me the time that I needed, the space that I needed to heal myself. My stitches are out. Still got hospital bills, still got debt. And when he took me in, I want to show you my current living situation just to let you guys on my journey, but it's on the screen right here. This is where I'm currently living. Those are my clothes, beginning of the video. And I sleep on that couch. I have no mattress, I have no room, and I stay with the roommate. I'm not going to disclose this roommate. That's his business. But shout out to him too. Love you, bro. So living there has taught me a big lesson. I've lost my own peace place. I've lost my home. But I have made the conscious decision to actually leave Philadelphia for good and go to Florida, Miami, Florida. And I wanted to make this conscious decision ever since I was 20 years old when I first went. So let's rewind it a little bit and go back to me taking about 6 months off from Playroom. After they banned me and left me and didn't help me, and me and the manager got into a big argument and I fell out with everybody. I took some time. I thought I was coming back in good graces to, learn my lesson, and I'm more stoic, I'm more calm, I'm more confident. I'm not a crash out anymore. And I come to prove myself that I can do this nightlife stuff, right? So I come back, I'm thinking I forgave everybody. The two bosses, the manager, my homie, everybody. Um, no, it wasn't that easy. So I come back, I'm dropping 30, 50. I'm thinking everything is all right. I figured, why not? Let me try to forgive and forget. You know what I mean? Or let me try to act fake, quote unquote. Let me try to shake hands and just forgive it, not knowing that I was building resentment and animosity, and I really didn't let go of the fact that these guys did me dirty, I feel, and I don't feel no kind of good at all when they just allow me back and they never apologized to me. They never had no type of compassion to say, you know what were you going through? How do you feel? So every time me and the manager, aka Mr. Soof, that's the last time I'm gonna say his name, every time we got into it, he would hang up the phone with me and say he's protecting his energy, and I'm just like, nah, bro, I understand you think I'm getting aggressive. I understand you think I'm the old Jaherd, but this is not that, bro. Sometimes you gotta learn how to like listen to someone, especially a person that is trying to, that's your partner that's trying to help you build a team. So you're bringing all these strangers on here. Now they're becoming family, and we're doing all good. And I'm trying to build bonds and keep it tight here. And you just out here hanging up the phone on me. Not even to mention the fact that you done left me for dead July 20th when I was stuck outside at that club all by myself. So this goes to show that the people that you want the most around you and that you think you're growing with, these people don't want to grow with you. They're out for their personal gain and their personal business, and they make more business moves more than moral moves. And it just hurts. It sucks that my brother did me that way. I'm not saying he did me super dirty, because in his mind, he don't think that he did anything to me. When low-key, everybody has a different perception. All I was looking for was just some accountability and maybe an apology. Just the consideration is what mattered to me. Even if you don't think you're wrong, at the end of the day, I would never just leave my brother face flat on the floor, especially if it was due to his own self-inflicted suffering. Yes, I get that. That's what one of the managers told me when he said he wanted to shoot me in front of the whole club after me just wanting to come inside and bring peace to everybody. So I'm like, okay, cool. You got that. You know what I mean? Later for him to be smacked by somebody whose names I'm not going to say. But people know the story. At the end of the day, I thought I was going to come back and drop everything and just forget it. I come back with the intentions of bridging the gap between artistry and nightlife, which that's what the manager set me up with. That's the dream and the blueprint that he sold me. He said, listen, man, get your music spun, make a club record, yada, yada. Let's build a team. Let's be unstoppable. Let's take this state to state. Let's do this out loud entertainment stuff, and let's build it, man. I'm like, all right, I'm all in. So I seen the vision. I started doing it. Next thing you know, we just abiding by the matrix. We just giving out free promo cards, bringing people back, dancing with shorties at a free section of a complimentary bottle. Shout out to Playroom for doing that, and the manager even setting that up. You know what I mean? But it all started to become redundant because I felt like we weren't doing productive work that was supposed to be attached to our artistry. It doesn't have to be that every single night. There's times where we can just fall back and chill. And most of the time we did more falling back and chilling more than we ever did our artistry work. Like, we never had a listening party. No other records were spun besides the guy I'm speaking on, which is the manager of the promo team. His records were always spun in the club, but that's because he has club records. Not a lot of the people on the team have club records or records that's susceptible enough in that environment to be played. I do more street music, conscious philosophical music. So he didn't really believe in my music. His music, he felt, was more superior than mine, I feel. But it is what it is. Like, I don't blame him for his taste. That's just the environment and the programming that he's in right now. That's his lifestyle at this moment that he's living through. So I respect his music reflecting that. His music is phenomenal. I can never speak bad on his music. But at the end of the day, bro, you never shared my stuff. You never built leadership, team building skills with these people who are mad talented, including myself, and say, you know what? I'm an engineer and I'm a producer. I'm going to produce and engineer your club record and I'm going to get it spun. And we're going to become a definitive team. And we're going to build and work together to get all these DJs to spin and play our records and come around and, let's just build a buzz for all of us. It was just him. All his records being played. Not my record, not nobody else's record. And I'm not going to involve too many names because I don't like doing that. I didn't even want to involve his name. But all his records are being played all the time. And it's like, damn, when am I going to get my records played? You never considered to build with me, even though I'm the one that's kind of single-handedly, besides you recruiting people, holding this team together. You know what I mean? So after I had enough, one night, I told myself I was burnt out. I started questioning my path in this nightlife. I didn't know if I wanted to do it or not. I was sad. I was upset. At this moment, I was planning and manifesting on moving to Miami, right? So after I was planning that, I lost my woman. None of these women out here would be consistent. I don't know if it's because of me, because I was broken, or because something was going on with me and I wasn't fit enough to, be in the dating field. I don't know what it is, but something is weird about Philly. Everybody is broke. Nobody is inspired. Nobody wants to stay consistent with their dream. So I'm just like, you know what? If I'm going to be the fifth broke person in this room full of 4 people that just want to be brokies all the time, I don't want to be a part of that story. And I don't want to be a part of that blueprint. So I decided to remove myself. I removed myself from a lot of friends. I cut off a lot of people before I left Playroom the second time. And I was burnt out one night and I said, man, look, bro, I'm just tired, man. I don't know what I want to do. I think I just want to leave. You know what I mean? I think I just need a break. And I'm really contemplating my whole lifestyle right now because I feel like I'm just swaying further away from my purpose as a man. And the boy, the manager was like, oh my God, this again? And I'm like, all right, bro. At the end of the day, if you're not here to support me or see me grow or see me win, he always told me to AKA focus on myself. And I know that I have taken the focus off myself to focus on other people. But it is because I'm very passionate as a person, right? I'm very passionate as a person. And if I love you, I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to teach you gentleman 101, gentleman etiquette. I'm going to inspire you to be the most cleanest and the most thoroughest version of yourself. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, whatever that takes, right? So this goes back to lesson number 1, which I believe was you can't expect everyone to be like you. It's up to them if they want to grow. So that's what he was always telling me, and I should have listened to that. But towards the night that I wanted to leave, that I was contemplating on leaving Playroom, I was burnt out. And I ain't gonna lie, I expected him to call me and be like, yo, Jahir, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I know you burnt out and you got some low energy, but what's going on? How can I make you feel better on this team? How can I keep you motivated and inspired? Tell me what's going on in your mind. He'll call me and say, how you doing? But that's just like, to me, in my opinion, that is a regular, like, how can I say, filtered response. Like, when you call your homie and you be like, yo, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm good. No, like, how are you really? What's going on in your mind? That's what I expected. Instead of saying, yo, how are you? I'm good, bro. Like, sometimes it takes for you to just prick at the brick wall, you know what I mean? And like, how can I explain this? Not too many people ask what's really going on with you. So I kind of expected that from my brother, not to just leave me face down and be like, I'm not going to fight for you if you're not going to fight for yourself. I'm like, bro, it was one night that I was burnt out. You could have called me and reached out as a brother if you really cared and loved me like you said you did. We live in a city of brotherly love, and I can't even get that extra mile of intention of like, I love you, bro. I care about you. What's going on? I don't want to see you fall. You're very valuable to this team. So what's up? Instead of doing that, he literally was like, I'm going to take the weight off of you, which I respect. He communicated it and I respect it. I'm going to take the weight off of you, and I'm going to take the leadership from you, and I'm going to take the responsibilities from you. This is how I took it. Even though he communicated, which I respect that, again. But again, if he sees this video, he might go against it and start laughing and being like, oh, this guy, he's lying. He communicated and all that, but I still didn't like how he basically just took my responsibilities from me, making me, I guess, redundant to the team. Like, he made me feel unimportant. He's like, yeah, you still on the team, but like, I'm just going to give this person X amount of responsibility now and add them to the chat, this and that. I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Even though you communicated that, that was still corny. Like, why would you even do that? Why couldn't you just why did you just sit there and assume that I was self-sabotaging again, like the old Jaherd, right? Why didn't you give me a chance to explain myself or have a conversation with me to inspire me and see if I could have fought through my rabbit hole, you know, my self-sabotage, introverted moment. You know what I mean? Now, I don't do that all the time. I've showed so much tenacity and consistency with this team that I just felt betrayed and disrespected. He was like, bro, I'm not fighting for no grown man but my child. I'm like, all right, while I can respect that, at the end of the day, I could see why you lack leadership skills and you're not building the team that you desire to build. It's really ludicrous how you really think that just hiring all these people who don't know you from a can of paint just to put money in their pockets. You're putting paper in their pockets, not purpose. If you were putting purpose in their pockets, I would respect the person more. They're not putting no purpose in their pockets other than getting paid. And I understand it's like it's like $50 to $200. I was getting paid the most. I was getting $250 to $300 almost a weekend. It would vary from $50 to $250. You know what I mean? And mind you, I'm a full-time Uber driver, right? So I get way more money than that club stuff. So dealing with all that headache for $250, anywhere from $50 to $250 was not worth it. So I ended up walking away. I was like, you know what? God has given me the opportunity to, one second. God has given me the opportunity to walk away and open up my eyes and see that for the second time, these people weren't actually there for me. They don't really care about me. They just care about what I can do for them, what I can provide. They're conditional people. They only care about what I can provide for them and how useful and valuable I can be to them. They weren't really my brothers and family. So I decided to step away and block each and every person that no longer serves in my purpose. I have blocked a person named Ray. Shout out to Ray. I always love you, bro, but you had to go. I blocked Suf, the manager. I blocked a couple people whose other names I won't mention, but those were two. I blocked my ex-girlfriend. She blocked me, I blocked her. We no longer are in contact. I started really upping my standards and really standing on business and saying, you know what? I told that one person, which is the manager of the promo team, I don't like you. I don't respect your character. I watched your character for over 2-3 years, and I don't really like the way you move. You move behind my back weird, shady. You reach out to my friends for opportunities because you see that they're making more money than both of us. That's my friend. But you reached out to him behind me and never told me about it and said, I want to leverage his money to build something for me. That's not sincere. So right there, that shows that that's just not thorough, in my opinion, how we would say in Philly. That's not thorough at all. So I was like, you know what? I don't like you, bro. I finally grew the courage to stand on it and say, you know what? I'm sorry that I faked it. I'm sorry that I shook your hand so many times and smiled in your face, knowing damn well I didn't like you. And I admit that. I admit that 100% that I was being fake and I was lying to myself. And I take accountability for all of that. So when I finally walked away from Playroom, and again, I thank them for the opportunity because they opened my eyes for me to see what was more important. This right here, Patient Progress, my YouTube channel, my TikTok. As soon as I walked away, I started blowing up a little more on TikTok. I started being consistent with my art. I started being consistent with my music. I started being consistent with making my clothes. I started being consistent with God. I started meditating. I started coming closer to who I really am supposed to be on this earth, my purpose. And I became so much more happier. And after I walked away, I seen that when I went ghost, only 2 people hit me up. Out of all friends and acquaintances I've had that could have hit me up, only 2 people hit me up. Shout out to Jamiroquai. Even though I can't help you right now, brother, I love you. I appreciate you, bro. You never had to make me question your character. Thank you. That's the only brother I wish I could help right now if I gotta help myself. And me helping myself is putting this video out and being very transparent and taking responsibility for my actions and saying that I should have never, lesson 4 if we're on 4, I should have never lied to myself. Stop lying to yourself. Keep it real with yourself. Be honest with you about the people, places, things, and energies that you share with others and yourself. Be careful what you expose yourself to, because you could be lying to yourself thinking that you're headed on God's path when you're really headed on the devil's playground. You're headed to the devil's playground. Sadly, you're on a path to play with the devil in his sandbox. And that's not healthy for none of you. You, your mind, your body, your soul, none of that. It's not healthy for you. So after I walked away, I consciously decided that I'm going to commit to moving to Miami. And right now you're in my office, which is my car. I've been here for 7 days a week, making $300 a day. And I told myself, I'm going to put this down deposit on this Miami room, and I'm going to move down there, and I'm going to do what's best for me. And I'm going to choose me. I'm going to pick me. And that's what you should do for you. You should pick you. Don't pick up the phone calls. Don't give your energy to other people that wouldn't do the same in return. And that sucks that you got to say that, because you're such a giver. You're such a nurturer. You're a lover. You want to give to others. But how can you give to others when you can't give to yourself? And that's another lesson I had to learn. That's a great lesson I had to learn. So shout out to everybody that checked up on me. Shout out to Scotty, Rachel. Shout out to Jamiroquai. Shout out to, sorry if I forgot anyone else, but shout out to anybody else who checked on me. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Shout out to my man Jose. You know what I mean? I thank God for all my little friends that I have. You know, I'm okay being by myself now. I have no problem with being by myself. I've isolated myself from everybody because God told me that I want you by yourself for the first time in your life. I want to be able to speak to you. I want to be able to raise your vibration. I want you to hear my voice and my voice only, so that I could tell you what to do on earth. What the Bible stands for? Basic instructions before leaving earth. He's trying to give me my basic instructions, but I'm too distracted by so many other frequencies and vibrations and energies that do not serve the purpose that he put me here for, which is to speak to y'all, which is to speak to the universe, which is appeal to the universe, which is to act one within the universe, bro. Like, it's real. The things that I've been experiencing, man, the people that been around me, they've been leaving, and I've been having a hard time letting them go. I was like, you know what? Nah. That's my 5th lesson. Learning how to let go. Let go and let God. For the first time, I let go and I let God do what he want to do with me. The music actually slowed down because my real purpose is to be a motivational speaker. Is to put this brand out. Help people be aware of their mental health. Become conscious and aware. All that drinking, smoking, messing with the wrong women who don't mix with my vibration and frequency, who can't even meet my standards, that was all bad for me. That was all wrong for me. And I should have never been messing with those kind of people or in those vibrations. So those things said goodbye to me, and I said goodbye to them. And today we're here. We're in this car. I'm doing this video. I'm proud of myself for everything that I've been experiencing. I'm happy I've come this far. I'm happy I'm driving this car. I'm happy I'm living. I'm happy I'm breathing. I'm very grateful that I'm even here talking with you guys. And I feel my success coming. That's why I named my brand Patient Progress, because I was patient through all the trials and tribulations that I just told you I faced. Look at me making progress today. I don't hate anybody I mentioned. I love each and every one of them. But I have to separate myself and do what's best for me, because doing what's best for me is what's best for them. As long as they want to see me happy, I want to see them happy. Regardless, I want to see everyone happy, even if they don't want to see me happy. But that's my story. My chapter in Philadelphia is now about to come to an end September 1st. I'm in high hopes that I'll be leaving on a one-way September 1st, and I'll be continuing my story in Miami. This chapter of my life is soon coming to an end. I'm just sacrificing all the fun, getting closer to God, staying consistent, meditating, working out, getting my gut right, cutting off the unnecessary people, the fat from my life that's doing nothing but taking up space. And I'm getting right. Above all else, I'm getting my mind right. And second of all, I'm getting my money right. Ever since I've cut everyone off and I stayed to myself, my money has increased. I'm not struggling no more. It's amazing. It is amazing. When you stop living for other people, stop expecting people to be like you, learn how to be the villain, treat yourself, never cheat yourself, and put yourself first when it is necessary, how successful you'll become. And that'll be the very day that you actually find what you're put on this earth to be, through the grace of God. Patient Progress. I love each and every one of y'all. If this video inspired you, if this motivated you, I'm sorry for the hiccups and little speech impediments, but I wanted to give y'all my raw story, and I wanted to tell y'all my progress. And I'm going to continue to make these videos. I'm going to continue to make vlogs, and I'm going to continue to sit here and tell you and update you with my story. When I land in Miami, it's just going to get better. Stay consistent. Stick to the script. I love y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe if you felt this message.